Hey, welcome to the Waffle Press movie TV show hangouts. I haven't decided which one we're going to focus on primarily, so we're just going to talk about all of them. My name's Diego Crespo, and with me I have M. Mighty Sophia.
Hello.
I should have given you more of a go-ahead, my bad.
But hey, what's up?
Yeah, we're learning. We're learning stuffs. Had some technical difficulties, otherwise this wouldn't up a day earlier. And we're going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because if we don't talk about it, that's not a world I want to live in. So we're going to talk about the episode, and I still don't know its name.
I know, it's like, see, we filmed like half the video yesterday, and then we still didn't know, and we still didn't figure it out. This is bad. We are repeating mistakes of the past. History has come to pass.
Hopefully we can get through this. Well, what did you think about the return of Sif and the discovery of Sky's powers? This is kind of a big episode.
Yes, and you know, like I said before, with Lady Sif, I was of course a little bit worried about how they were going to kind of bring her character back in, even though the last time she was here it was a very fun and hectic and volatile episode, but very good. And so in a lot of ways there really wasn't any reason to be concerned about her returning in some weird or unfitting way. But it was a little bit disconcerting, of course, with her at the beginning not being able to remember who she was, and it didn't really make sense initially, and you're thinking, why exactly would they be doing this? Like, what is the deal here? We have enough on our plates. And then it all kind of intertwined with what's happening with Sky right now too. And I think it's been really painful to see the way that Sky has come into her powers, because unlike some of the other, heroes of the Marvel universe, it hasn't been this self-exploration really. It's just this she constantly, like, she's riding a bike down a hill that's at like a 90-degree angle, and she's trying desperately to hit the brakes and doesn't know how. It's sort of like a young Hulk, like she can't control her violent emotions, and in turn that creates violence, and now everybody's kind of in a lot of ways pitted against her, which really sucks. And she was such a central core part of the group in the last season and earlier on as well. So it's been hard, but also interesting to see how everybody's been reacting to her, and sort of the unlikely partnerships that she's had, but then also the unlikely struggles with falling out with some of her friends in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I like the comparison to a younger Hulk, where she goes through this accident essentially, even though it's technically embedded like in her DNA, I guess, from early on, from through her mother and all that. But she still has this thrust upon her. She was relatively normal before, I guess like super genius hacker lady, but now she discovers like, she might be considered a monster, and people do consider her a monster, and it's sad. But I also like the contrast with that of members of the group, specifically Fitz, Coulson, and May, who are watching over her still, and were the first ones to defend her, even when Lady Sif and that Inhuman dude went out to destroy her or take her somewhere. It was kind of unclear to me if they were going to kill her or trying to kill her right there, or if they were going to take her to like Asgard or something.
I know, it's one of those situations where it's like, she needs to be put down. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's like in comedies when they're like, take them out, and they're like, oh, you want to take them out to dinner? No, take them out. Oh, so like Chinese takeout? What do you? Yeah, that's kind of the thing I got from it. So maybe they were more clear about it, and I just didn't pay attention enough. A big highlight for me is actually, I was concerned about Sif and how like she was going to be implemented into the episode. I was like, I'm glad to see her again, but it's kind of a random thing to just throw her in the middle of this overarching story. And then you're right, how she became intertwined with the story they were telling right now, and more revelations about galactic society stuff and Inhumans and Kree and Guardians of the Galaxy, like all this big mess of stuff all coming together, and it feels not messy. It just feels like a comic book, which I personally love, and I'm pretty sure you do too.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying. But of course, I really enjoyed the overall feel and the way that they brought all these seemingly disparate parts together, and that to me shows that we should be in for a really good season. Like you said, it's been getting better and better in so many ways.
Yep, totally agree. Any other highlights you want to point out before we move on?
I think we kind of touched on all the big components, seeing how Lady Sif joined in and all these relationships. Oh, we actually, the one thing that we forgot to talk about was the sort of conspiracy that's brewing within S.H.I.E.L.D. with Bobby.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
yes. The elephant in the room for them and for us.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of scariness, and trying to figure out what is this going to mean for S.H.I.E.L.D., or more specifically for our group, because they pretty much are what S.H.I.E.L.D. is right now, whether that's going to be staging some kind of coup or taking Coulson out, because he's in a really interesting place where everybody's completely divided about whether they can fundamentally trust him at the end of the day or not. With some of the calls that he's made, it's sort of that like Nick Fury ordeal where people are very divided on the calls that he makes, and so that's scary.
Yeah, I thought Mac was gonna kill Hunter right then and there instead of just choking him out. That would have been a little crazy. I'm glad they didn't. I like having the character
Yeah.
around, and that kind of shows me that they're not Hydra or anything like that. Nothing crazy, and they've already kind of pretty much stated that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of the different factions of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like there's a faction in the comics called S.W.O.R.D.
Mm-hmm.
I know little to nothing about them, but they're basically like S.H.I.E.L.D., but not S.H.I.E.L.D., just, just comics.
Okay.
And maybe that's what this type of story is heading towards, like maybe a split in S.H.I.E.L.D. to create S.W.O.R.D., and then they'll have like a bunch of agents over here and a bunch of agents over there, which will be more problematic for them because then they'll just have like greater divides, and they'll be easier for whatever upcoming villains they have to take them on.
Mm-hmm.
One last thing before we move on to our next topic, which should be fun. I believe Cal, Sky's dad, is creating a team of supervillains, like the Masters of Evil from the Avengers comics. They're not doing that story in the movies yet. I hope they do. I like villain team ups a lot. But I like the idea of them just going full comic book. Like that's like some of the most comic booky stuff you could do. Like superhero tradition to have a team of heroes fight a team of villains, and they've only got technically 2 superheroes on their side with Mockingbird and Sky. So I'm so excited. All right, but let's